first question, I want to deal with it a little bit more in detail. And the rest of the questions will be an offshoot of this question. So, if you ask me what are the communication skills that are essential for early stage NGO founders, I'd like to break this into three parts, which are verbal, non-verbal or interpersonal, and written. Okay. So when I say verbal communication skills, so some of the essential points uh, that would really make a difference, when an NGO founder is going to pitch about his idea, is to have a very good opening communication, sort of your opening statement. So the conversation has to open with a precise mission, vision, and clarity of thought. Then the second part is some clarity and concision. So everybody appreciates a little concise and very precise communication. Nobody would like to, beat around the bush. So clarity, I think, one word that really defines like the verbal part of communication is clarity of thought. And your language, your proficiency in the language does not matter as much as how you care about the cause, and how what would you like to do about it. So a founder needs to have that clarity of thought. And again, like just an offshoot of this point is a well thought of talking points. So when we think about an issue, right, like when there is an issue to be like sort of worked upon, or to uh, if you are looking to work upon an issue, you have to look at it from multiple angles, multiple facets, and build up very confirmed talking points as to what exactly is the problem statement, and where you would you want to hit it. So concision, precision, the very clarity of thought, these are very, very founding stones of the verbal part of communication skills. Then one more thing that I can't emphasize enough is practice, practice, practice. Like, just talk to as many people as you can. Try out your idea, try out your pitch, or your sort of your elevator pitch with as many people as you can. Take their feedback. So what happens is it just becomes a part of your subconscious, like when you just keep, like, it's as if you're preparing for an exam, right? Like, I mean, uh like that sort of that thorough training, it does not just stop with your educational uh, journey. It almost always continues. I mean, if you speak to any professional, it always, like, it's a lifelong process. So practice, practice, practice. Avoid digressing into different topics. Again, this is again, like, if you have clarity, then this can be avoided. Like, oftentimes what happens is, because it's verbal and it's very impromptu, so people in general can have the tendency to digress into very unrelated topics, or unproductive conversations. So avoid that. So this is the key, like, just avoid your distractions, basically. So these are the key to, like, say, verbal communication. Then I move on to the next part, that's non-verbal or interpersonal communication. So this is, I mean, this cannot be emphasized enough, because India being, the country that we are, we have people from different backgrounds. Every state is different. Every uh, like a part of the state is different. So what brings us all together, and what can help you strike a chord with someone else from a very different background, is your hold on the non-verbal part of the communication, like your interpersonal skills. So there are two things that are really essential here. One is mindfulness. Like, you really need to be, like, very aware and mindful of what you speak. And second is your conscious effort to build a personal brand. So every professional or every person in this field, in any field, is always striving to build that personal brand, so that any person interacting with you always remembers, oh, this person, oh, he was always polite when he was talking to me, oh, this person made a very very, very interactive conversation with me. So interpersonal skills are like, I mean, I would rate it a little bit more than your verbal or your written communication skills, because at the end of the day, when you are in an NGO or any organization, you deal with a lot of people. So your hold over your interpersonal skills, your mindfulness, and how you build your brand, it's very essential. Then thirdly, I can say that you have to have like a little adaptable and a friendly persona. You have to have that likable sort of a nature. Not, I'm not trying to say that you need to be a people pleaser, but because you're dealing with a lot of people and there are a lot of stakeholders, and more often than not, you will deal with people who are not from a very privileged part of society. And then your job as an NGO would be to connect this particular part of society with a little bit more evolved uh, persons in the society. So I think your adaptability, your friendly nature is, I mean, that is something that will really, really make it very easy for you to, put across your points. Then you have to, then moving on, it's a little different. Like you have to be clean and sharp when it comes to dressing. It need not be like a very you don't need to spend a lot of time dressing, but always make sure that there is a great level of hygiene that you maintain. You're always clean, you're always dressed appropriately for any situation. Always have that, that thing in mind, like in terms of prepare. I mean, when I say prepare, also prepare as to you'll be wearing A, B, C. This is how you will be dressed for the occasion. It need not be a very expensive or an elaborate clothing, but it has to be very mindful and appropriate for the occasion. Again, hygiene levels. So always, because you will be, I mean, on someday you will be interacting with someone, the other day you will have to be probably at a corporate house talking to a CFO, making a pitch. So you have to be prepared for any of those situations. So that is one thing. Then your body language, it has to be like uh, uh, in terms of it has to reflect open-mindedness, and it has to reflect a certain amount of being open to ideas. It has to reflect that you have done your homework. It has to reflect that you are here to sort of take in ideas and work upon them. So you have to have that little bit of a fungible kind of a body language. You can't be very stiff. You can't be a little aggressive about your ideas. So a little easy, respectful, and a little open-mindedness should be reflective in your in your body language. Again, confidence. I think if you tick all the other boxes, confidence will come automatically. Like if you do your homework, if you are dressed sharp, if you are adaptable, if you have practiced, if you know, if you are clear in your thinking, then I think confidence is just a result of that. So uh, I mean, if you like, I mean, if you open social media like today, so you see a lot of so-called influencers. I mean, people who are like, a little, I mean, society, I mean, a lot of teenagers, they sort of follow them, and, people are following them. So I think the only thing that they have and they bank upon is confidence, basically. They are extremely confident people. So I think when you are confident, I think it shows a lot. I mean, it makes the other person take you very seriously. So yeah, confidence is a important non-verbal cue. And yes, empathy, patience, respectfulness, mindfulness, a positive attitude. So yes, these are like very, very small cues, but if you are conscious about it and it reflects positively, it makes a lot of difference in how the other person perceives you and how well your idea is taken, and it just helps you as a professional. And moving on to the third part of it is writing, like the written part of communication. Why is it important? Because the way the world works, how basically, if you say like governments, big corporate houses, I think a lot of emphasis is given to written communication. Like because written communication somewhere provides that clarity of intent that clarity of thought when you actually sit and put it down on the paper. That is something that uh, it sort of then says that, okay, this person is really thinking about it. He's put it out down, and I think like in every way, if in general practice, like I mean, from childhood, like examination to like to the corporate world, I think people emphasize a lot on written communication. So it is again like a very very important skill. Some of the key things to note when you are like uh, trying to communicate through written means is like uh, uh, first things first is always show professionalism, like as in show that be a little specific, be courteous, show that professionalism, show that that you that there is some thought that has been gone in writing what you're writing. Then think before you write. I mean, like spend some time, sharpen the axe, and then go for the kill rather than just writing is like it's quite it's one of the most difficult, if we say as a skill to develop. It's not that easy because how you write, it reflects a lot about how well you have thought about the idea. So spend some time, edit, revise. Like I mean, it's like similar to practice. Just practice writing and then proofread within your group, proofread it, like take it to some people and see what they have to say about what you've written. Research well, like do your outline, do your background understanding well. I mean, support it, like whenever you are quoting something, always keep those backups with you in case you need it for future reference. And uh, I mean, have your referencing. I mean, when you refer to something, make sure that the context is correct. And uh, so, yeah, so that is one thing. Keep it simple. Like, I mean, avoid using very long sentences, cut down on sentences, avoid using fillers, use very simple vocabulary. You don't need to use a lot of difficult words, sort of simple words, simple sentences, keep it simple. Just make sure that it's professional, and if it's like the shorter, the better. Simple. So these are some of the uh, important communication skills that I identified. Just to summarize: written, interpersonal, that is non-verbal, and verbal.